times, the whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still have the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that's an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF. The whole country is. Yeah. And you're trying to tell me that they're going to concerts and kibbutzes and schools and by reports 6 hours. Let's say it's 3 hours.
Yeah, man. It's all what's going on, y'all. What's good in the hood? It's all suspect to me. It's all suspect to me. You know what I mean? I've been looking. I've been trying to find. I've been trying to just, hey, come on, make this real. Make this real. They've been just lying to us from the beginning. It's funny. It's similar to what they the right conservative, radical right Republicans would say. They would call it a false flag-ish. Only reason I say ish because people really died. And that just shows the lack of consideration for our governments, all governments, especially these Western governments, that they're even willing to put, innocent people's lives on the line just to convince the rest of the innocent people what they're doing is justified. So like I'm saying, only reason I go to that because first and foremost, the backstory behind that, which I'm not talking about the Palestine-Israel dispute. I'm just talking about Benjamin Netanyahu and just the current backstory that he's facing a lot of flack for that judicial stuff he's doing. The polls are in the trash, even after the Hamas attack. See, get this, after the Hamas attack, 4 out of 5 Israelis in Israel, the people in Israel, not America, not this news that we're listening to, because they're telling us that it's the complete opposite. They're shutting down protests and saying, no, you can't protest. But in Israel, they're actually protesting, not Hamas, but Benjamin Netanyahu and IDF. So let me get back to the poll. So 4 out of 5 people blame Netanyahu for the Hamas attack. Not for doing this or doing that. No, they blaming Netanyahu for the Hamas attack. It's his fault. Israelis. The people, they lost their lives. They lost their family members, right? They blame Netanyahu. We all know Israel, this intelligent powerhouse, defensive kings. Ain't nobody taking them down. The whole country is being watched over with an eagle eye, right? So the people living in Israel know this. They know that, like, you've been telling us this, and how are you surprised? How do you get surprised with all this intelligence, right? You have all this intelligence, and how do you get surprised? And when I say intelligence, I don't mean like, oh, we have cameras, we have videotapes, we're tapping into the wire lines. No. When I say intelligence, I say Israel had intelligence that said there was going to be a big attack. And it wasn't coming from a source that they don't normally get information. And let me just tell you this. The information came directly from the Israel foreign minister or intelligence minister directly to Netanyahu. And let me tell you why that's important. Because when it comes to Israel, Netanyahu is the only person that communicates or negotiates with Hamas. No one else talks to them. He's the only person that people were mad at Israel because of that relationship he has with Hamas. So that's important, because you are the line of communication to Israel through Hamas. You were warned up to 10 days, not up to 10. We know it was for, in fact, 10 days, coming from the Israel intelligence minister. He ain't got no reason to lie. And why does Netanyahu have to lie? I don't know, because when he was first asked if he was warned, or he was told about the story that he was warned, he initially called it fake news. That was before the foreign minister came out, or even before it was confirmed. I think the story was out already, because I read this story. So the story came out, 10 days, Netanyahu calls it fake news. So that's why Netanyahu can't be trusted, because he's literally calling the facts fake news, and he was told personally from the guy. So it's hard to believe the dude when he says things like it's a surprise attack, or they're this barbarism, because there's a lot of lies been told, a lot of propaganda, a lot of the 2D facts. And when I say 2D, meaning they can release these stories early on in these catastrophes, right? And they don't necessarily get vetted, but since it's so early on, no one's asking questions. They're just they're soaking it all in. So when you go in there and say they were brutalized, babies beheaded, and dot, right? And just a bullet in the body is bad enough, right? So you don't really need to go in there and say they were raped, and then come to find out you have no proof. But the first 3 days, you flooded U.S. media, you flooded the world media, saying that these are brutal animals. You called them yourself brutal animals, using these facts that come to find out can't even be confirmed. In this case, they're pretty much lies, because the people that told us they were confirmed said, "Oh no, I wasn't confirmed." So we're not to believe that these are just lies, right? So they had the president repeating. The president came out. Wish I had to take. The president came out, said, "I saw the proof of the beheaded babies. I would never think I would ever see proof of beheaded babies. Pictures." He even said pictures, right? He said it that night. The news went wild, said, "See, it's true. The president said it. He said it. They're not lying." Then the next day, the White House comes out. They backtrack the whole story. I'm like, no, actually, no one's seen the proof or pictures. We haven't even confirmed that babies were beheaded. You know what I mean? And the pictures that we were given, they didn't say this, but we were figuring this out. This is all the stuff they leaked out. All the pictures that they were shown were AI created. So it has me thinking, like, if you have to go through if a bullet to the body is enough, right? If the bullet to the body is worse, why the lies? If you have to tell the lies, are we to believe anything or even half of what you're telling us, right? Because now the truth's coming out that he was warned. There's protests in the West Bank. Supposedly the protests are in Israel over this judicial stuff. They staged it as, we got to send more troops to the West Bank. They had the warning that it was in Gaza. It was going to happen in Gaza, and it was going to be huge. They got that warning from Egypt, the moderator, right? But why would you move, or why would you keep your troops? And you heard the gentleman I played earlier. He said the whole state is surveilled. But, why would you something's coming in Gaza. Even if all your troops are in the West Bank dealing with stuff, right? Why aren't you bringing people over there? Or why are you moving people out of the Gaza area to protect the people? I don't know. How does this defense king, Israel, the defense kings of the world, right? How do you even tell the story you were surprised? How does that even come out your mouth, right? You're supposed to be a top intelligence. Now we're supposed to believe that after the attack, you're going to go back into being the top intelligent king defenders of the world? We're supposed to believe that they attack you, a slide surprise attack. We know it's a lie, but let's just play it as a surprise attack. Even if it was a surprise attack, we know it's a lie because we know he knew about it, right? But benefit of no doubt, just to make the story fit. You were surprised, but you're the defense kings. You running the world of defense. Everybody's bragging about you. We send you money. Europe sends you money to protect you, right? And you to tell me that you get surprised by a bunch of barbarians, hooligans, and you got the top security. I mean, that's you're occupied West Bank, right? But you're not occupied in Gaza. So all your security's around the Gaza border. Please tell me how you let your people get slaughtered like that, man. Netanyahu knew. And that's my thought. I'm not gonna go, the disclosure, check, but he had to have knew. He had to have known more than what we think he knew. We think saying that he, 80% of the people saying that he's taking the blame for Hamas, and 96% of people saying the government failed them. It's the government's fault because they had a lack of security, right? They're not necessarily blaming the government, for the attack, but they're saying their lack of security was. But they're blaming Netanyahu for Hamas, right? And fast forward, we got a lot of they turned the tide, right? They bombed, they killed a lot of innocent Palestinians. I'll play something for you in a minute, but it's real brutal, right? Really brutal. Really brutal though. Now, let's we're gonna go on a different track in a minute. I do want to just talk about how we got here, or just a little bit of history on the area. If y'all aren't aware of all the facts, or just some facts get missed. Some things you don't learn in school. They don't teach you a lot of things. You know what I mean? They don't teach you that. They don't teach you that the Russians were fighting. See, that was crazy. There's a lot of stuff that they don't tell you, but they want to lead you to believe other things. You know what I mean? With the Russian-Ukraine war, if you go back in it, the Russians, the Ukrainians were the Nazis, and the Russians were fighting them, and and that wasn't not even over 80 years ago. So then they question, they're trying to denazify Ukraine, but Ukraine still has Nazis in it. That's my point right there on history. But we're going to go back into Europe and the rest of Europe, Germany, all that. But let me play this for you, because I slid upon this. Was never seen this on any. I saw it on one other network, but it didn't even cover the full story that was being told. Right? So let me play this right here, because it's very this is in South Gaza, right? Because we all know that the Israelis told a million people to flee North Gaza into South Gaza, because we're gonna bomb the hell out of North Gaza to root the area of Hamas, right? So as everybody makes it to South Gaza, this is what's happening.
Right now, the 6-hour window Israel set for Gazans to move south has just ended. What does the situation on the ground look like now?
يا أستاذ وين رايح؟ Well, I am standing in Shuhada Al-Aqsa Hospital, which is located in Deir al-Balah in southern Gaza, and this is where basically the Israeli military asked Gazans to evacuate. And what we are witnessing right now is whole families, children, women arriving to the hospitals. The Israeli warplanes attacked, airstrikes a home that belonged to Abu Jbara family located in Deir al-Balah in southern Gaza. We saw whole families. I myself saw children, at least 10 children under the age of 5, with their heads cut off, their bodies. If you can see around me, we can still see the ambulances arriving to the Shuhada Al-Aqsa Hospital, mostly women, mostly children. I mean, this is undescribable. This is like a massacre. The number that was published from the Palestinian Health Ministry is that the death toll here in Gaza is up to 2,215 Palestinians. But me standing right here in the hospital, I can clearly tell you that the number is going up every hour. More injuries arrive to the hospital. Here is an ambulance full of children. I can see the children where I'm standing.
Yeah, it's
The situation is undescribable. Whole families, children under the rubble, children being killed. I have never witnessed anything like that. I've been covering escalations on Gaza for years now, and what we're witnessing right now is whole massacres. Recent ambulances are arriving from Abu
very
Jbala
tense
family,
scene.
one of the families that reside in Deir al-Balah city, which is located in southern Gaza, where hundreds of thousands of family from northern Gaza, basically, and from central Gaza city, evacuated to the city because they thought that they will be safe, and this is a shelter for them, because this is what was published by the Israeli military. And northern Gaza to move to cities in southern Gaza. However, what we were saying from the morning while I am here in Shuhada.
Yeah, you heard her. Did you? Y'all kind of heard her, right? I'm not sure if I had the music on, but I'm pretty sure y'all got that. Y'all heard her, man. They sent the people to South Gaza, then unleashed an assault in South Gaza, not North Gaza. And I'm sure they're gonna say Hamas is using them as human shields, because that's their line to bomb innocent people. Is Hamas is using them as human shields? So it's okay to kill innocent people if you're being used as it's your life does not matter if you're being used as a human shield. I guess. I don't know if that's just what they say or that's just how they bomb innocent people and get away with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. One thing I did find interesting going back a different level, different lane right now. Kind of starting at the beginning of all this. Occupy. I did notice that